Hello, my name is Miss Sophia, teaching artists with young audiences of Louisiana, and this is Art to Heart. For this video, you're going to need a little bit of space around you. So if you're sitting at a desk, stand up, push that chair in. If you're in your living room, move the coffee table over a little bit. If you have the accessibility to go down to the floor, you might want to make sure that there's some space around you on the floor so you can go all the way down and move around a little bit. You also might want a puppet. If you have a puppet with you, that would be amazing. If not, you could always use a stuffed animal. Today we are going to talk about using dance and movement as a way to talk about taking turns and listening. So when I first start a class, I like to begin with an attention getter. This way I get the student's attention and then I have it and can come back to the same attention getter repeatedly whenever they get distracted or lose focus. For example, if you can hear my voice, clap once. If you can hear my voice, clap twice. If you can hear my voice, clap 3 times and catch a bubble. This way, when they respond, that sound, that cue, gets them to engage with me, brings their attention back, and asks them to do something so that they have to bring their focus back to what we're doing. Now that I have everyone's attention and I've established a way to continue getting their attention throughout the class, I introduce a helper of mine. Now, in order to get them excited and get their attention and get them to really want to know what's happening next, I start off in a whisper. I have a friend. I'd like to introduce him to you, but he's a little shy, so we have to be really quiet. And then I bring out my puppet friend. This class is Mr. Fred. Say hi to Mr. Fred. Hi, Mr. Fred. Hi, class. Does Mr. Fred seem strange to you? What do you think Mr. Fred is feeling? So I asked the students first to see if they can gauge the emotion that Mr. Fred is expressing, and that'll tell me where they are in terms of understanding emotional cues. Then I go back to the puppet. Mr. Fred, you seem sad. Do you want to talk about it? Wow, that's so nice of you, Miss Sophia. I would love to talk about it. Class, can we be good listeners and listen and hear what Mr. Fred is feeling? How do we be good listeners? So that Mr. Fred knows we're listening to him, let's use our eyes to look at Mr. Fred. In fact, let's turn our whole bodies to face Mr. Fred so he really knows we're listening. Let's keep our eyes open, our ears open so that we can hear, and our mouths closed so we can be really quiet for Mr. Fred. So, Mr. Fred, tell us, why are you feeling so sad? Well, Miss Sophia, it's really hard being stuck in the house all the time because of coronavirus. Wow, I really understand that. That makes a lot of sense, especially for a frog. That must be super hard. It is, Miss Sophia. Thank you for listening. Would you like to get out of that funk? I would love that. Maybe we can do a little dancing and move around a bit. How does that sound? As you can see in that introduction, I used the puppet to not only introduce the experience that we were about to have in the activity we're going to do, but also to introduce the concept of empathy and good listening skills to the students. If they care about how Mr. Fred is feeling, then they care about how we can listen to Mr. Fred and make him feel more included and start really working on our listening skills. Great, let's play. So in this game, we're gonna take turns dancing. First, it's gonna be my turn. So I'm gonna dance and you're gonna watch Mr. Fred. Okay, Miss Sophia. Then you're gonna see if you can do the same move that I just did. So it'll be your turn then. Sound good? Sounds good. So for example, let's do this. Ready? That was my turn. Mr. Fred, it's your turn now. Ooh, very nice. How do you think he did? So as you can see, we're using the puppet to talk about my turn and your turn, the concept of taking turns. So we're not just listening with our ears to what the person is saying, but we're also listening with our bodies. So if it's my turn, then you're standing still, and if it's your turn, I'm watching you while you get to move. So it's introducing that concept. Side note, if you don't feel comfortable with a puppet quite yet, it is a great tool, but you can also do this with a co-teacher, right? So you could have your co-teacher do a dance move and then you imitate the dance move, making sure that you're really showing the concept of your turn, my turn, using those words so the students understand when it's your co-teacher's turn, you are turning your body to face them, your eyes are on them, you're listening, and your mouth is closed, right? Going over those listening skills and those taking turns and the concept of my turn and your turn with your co-teacher. Once you've done that and you've shown the example either with your puppet or the co-teacher, you're gonna pair the students off and they'll do the same thing for the class. So if you're in a classroom, you can have this space set up where the students can stand 6 feet apart. The rest of the students will be watching in their own space as well. Student A will dance. It'll be their turn. Make sure you use the word your turn. And then student B will copy what student A did, and we'll see how their dance moves compared. Then we'll switch, right? So student B gets their turn, gets to show their dance move, and then student A imitates student B. If you're in a virtual situation, you can always have the focus of those videos be on those two students, right? So you pin the video of the student who's dancing, and then when it's the next person's turn, you pin their video. Or use the audio. So mute all, unmute the student who is taking their turn, and then when it's the next student's turn, you unmute them so that the speaker goes to their screen. So it's them on the screen, and all of the students have to look at that one student taking their turn. So making sure you're really emphasizing this idea of taking turns and listening. If you see a student who, when it becomes their turn, they're not doing the dance move that their partner did, gently remind them, hey, we need to be turning our bodies and our eyes to face our partner. We need to give them their attention. We need to listen and keep our mouths closed and our eyes open so we can make sure that we're doing the dance move that they're doing, right? So that it's not just a random back and forth dance battle, but that it's really about taking turns, imitating the other student, so you're there showing that they're listening to the first student's move, and vice versa. In dance, this really correlates to the idea of partner work. So when you're dancing with a partner, right, in any sort of social dance, you have to listen to how they're moving. But also, if we're talking about improvisational dance forms or battle dance forms, that kind of thing, you really have to listen and watch to see what the other person did. So if they do something, you need to make sure that you respond to what they're doing, right? Imitating, mirroring is a huge part of the dance world. So that's where this comes in. But it's also a really great way to show taking turns, to show listening, and to emphasize the idea of staying 6 feet apart, but also still giving each other's attention. So how do we really work on, okay, we need to have social distance, but we can still focus on the other person. We can still give them our attention and listen and be there for them. So to wrap up the class, we'll go back to Mr. Fred, the puppet, or your partner teacher, or whoever else you're working with. Wow, That was some amazing dancing you all did. How are you feeling now, Mr. Fred? I'm feeling so much better. It feels so good to have my friends dance with me and really listen and care about my feelings. Thank you, Miss Sophia, for listening. Oh, I am happy to listen, Mr. Fred, anytime you want. What about you all? Will you listen to Mr. Fred when he's feeling sad? Let's remember, what are our tips for listening? We have to look at our friend, turn our body to face them, use our ears to really hear what they're saying, and close our mouths so we can give them our full attention and really listen. Thank you, Miss Sophia, for a great dance class. It was a great dance class. I saw so many awesome dance moves out there. Would you be willing to show us again? Let's go one at a time and show our best dance moves for the whole class. Would you like to see that, Mr. Fred? I would love that. Yay! From here, to really finish off, we're going to have each child one at a time show a dance move. Then the rest of the group is going to imitate the dance move that they just did to show that everyone is listening and seeing what they're doing. This is a lot easier in a classroom setting, right? So if we're in a circle and you have one student stand up and do a move, then everyone can stand up and do the move, and then everyone takes a seat. So it's also really emphasizing the idea of taking turns and standing and sitting, listening, right? But virtually, this might be a little more challenging. So what you could do is unmute the one participant who's showing their move and then not do the imitation part if that's too complicated. Or switch back and forth between speaker view and gallery view. But that also proves a little bit more challenging when you have younger children who maybe can't work the technology the same way. So it's up to you to sort of figure out how that would best work. My suggestion would be to just do one child at a time and suggest that the students imitate them at home. So we don't have to see them doing the imitation necessarily because the speaker view will be on and you'll only see the leader of that specific dance move, giving them their attention, making sure we're emphasizing that it's their turn to dance and everyone's going to imitate what they're doing. If students start to get distracted or really excited by the dance moves, bring them back. So in between people's turns, you can always do the, if you hear me clap once, if you hear me clap twice, if you hear me clap 3 times, catch a bubble. Or bring Mr. Fred back in, right? Or use your co-teacher. So any way that you think is the best way to get their attention, maybe you already have something established in your classroom, but make sure that you're bringing them back using that attention getter to bring their focus back, to remind them that it's the turn of the student who's going. So we really emphasize the idea of taking turns and listening to our partners. Once everyone has gone, I like to lead the students in a full body shakedown, just a way of getting all of their energy out and releasing anything that's left pent up in there. You can also use this as a sort of beginning to your class if you feel like there's a lot of intense energy and students really need to move and are having a hard time listening. This could be a good way to begin and close the class. So what I would say is, shake your right hand. Shake your left hand. Shake your right arm. Shake your left arm. Shake your right foot. Shake your left foot. Shake your right leg. Shake your left leg. Shake your shoulders. Shake your hips. Shake your knees. Shake your head. Shake your face. Shake your whole body. Shake it all. Shake it all the way down. Once we've shaken all the way down to seated, we'll take 3 deep breaths. I use these deep breaths specifically to calm the nervous system. So when we're really, really excited, be it children or adults, our nervous system goes a little haywire. When we breathe in through our nose and exhale through our mouth, it calms the vagus nerve, which calms our nervous system and allows our heart rate to go down and get rid of some of that energy, calm down, take the anxiety out, whatever it is, any way you need to relax. So I use this a lot for young students. We're going to breathe in through the nose and exhale through the mouth. In through the nose and exhale through the mouth. In through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. Thank you so much. I had a great time working with you all today. I know Mr. Fred had a great time, and I hope you can really use this to help work with your students about taking turns and listening skills.